Welcome back, Smooth and Crypto. I'm your host, Maxwell Smooth, and it's another blessing, great opportunity to talk to Dude with his brand new project. It seems like every time I talk to you, it's a new project, and I'm really excited for this one. Dude, how you doing, man?
Excellent. Yeah. It's crazy how fast this is moving. Like I was looking at Helios the other day and I'm like, oh wow, we're on day 267. Man, it just feels like a couple of months ago that I just started building in Titan X, and then here I am with project number 4. Uh that's insane. Um
Wow, yeah, it's been an absolute long time coming, and you know, the fact that you're able to say project number four is just crazy in my opinion because in the early stages of Helios and Titan X and stuff there were so many unknowns, but
mhm.
we came through at the end kind of war, and you were definitely front of the line getting a brood of the arrows and the all of that stuff with Helios, but I think it was a really good move to start that, and obviously kind of building and creating even more projects. It's been an amazing thing to see, like your evolution through Titan X building.
Yeah, yeah, I was I forget who it was. Somebody was complimenting me about, sticking with it. And there was a long bear market, that Helios went through, and they're like, you could have easily just gave up and went home. But no, I just kept building and adding more value to the ecosystem, and here we are. Like everything's, it's all falling into place. It's amazing. I think
Yeah,
it was the verse that was saying that. Yeah.
yeah. Shout out
So
Chris and Trey. Yeah, those
yeah.
guys do a really good job over there. But you easily could, and we've seen it. I mean, you've been in crypto for quite a while too, and we've seen like you think this project's going to be here forever, and then like a year later when it's kind of quiet down, but everything still works. You know what I mean? It's just like, yeah, no one's touching it. We're not updating it. We're not adding new features. Nothing. And it's it sucks when you see that because you anticipate, like, you can vision yourself seeing and holding this thing for a long period of time, and a lot of narratives take that long to play out. So definitely kudos to you for kind of sticking with it, and not only sticking with it with just Helios, but building more and more projects. And E369 is the fourth baby in the wild that's right around the corner.
Yes, yes. E280 has been a smash. I'm so happy to really like stick to what I want. My vision of this is like supporting, like this whole ecosystem is supports each other, and like that's what I wanted E280 to be. And I think it's exactly that. It's been supporting all the protocols. We've buying and burning, 14 different tokens, and now we're adding all the LPs to everything. It's all going exactly as planned, and we're seeing a ton of NFTs getting burned, like over 500 at this point since minting is closed. It's like I, I knew NFTs were going to get burned, but at this rate, it was just like it's very surprising to me. But it's great to see as well. Um, Let me go to the stats real quick. Um, yeah, we're down to under 10,000 NFTs circulating. That's a tiny supply, if you ask
Wow.
me. And we are already approaching that 50% burn mark. Um, and that's awesome to see as well. Like this is a capped supply token. Like those are never coming back. There's never going to be any more minted. Um, and there's been people that ask me like, well, the 369 that's going to dilute E280, isn't it? Like we're getting rewarded in these tokens, and I'm like, those tokens aren't getting minted. That's not a thing. These are getting
Yep.
bought off the market. Like that's like complete opposites. One's diluting and one's like buying. Adding buy pressure, and it's like, yeah, it's completely different. So um,
Yeah, and if people haven't seen the Element 280 website, there's been a little bit of a revamp, kind of a cleaned up version to add Element 369 to it,
mhm.
and I think that was a really good thing. It wasn't like it was necessarily like jumbled up at the top, but
Mm.
definitely just having a couple drop down menus with a kind of all encompassing stats page. I think that's really, really clean.
Yeah, thank you. Because Stacks is coming as well, and we were running out of space in the top bar really quick, and I was like, yeah, the drop down just made complete sense. And so, soon after this, we're gonna have a Stacks drop down, which I'm also so excited about. But one thing at a time here, we're
Yep.
showcasing 369, what I'm calling the E280 expansion pack.
I like
Um,
that.
this is the ultimate like supporting yourself. If you're an E280 NFT holder, or like you like Inferno or Flux, like this is for you. Like this is same style of minting NFTs, except this one's a little different. We're gonna have open mint. It'll be open and close alternating every 44 days. So with the first cycle being a little off because we're trying to um, sync up with the Flux um, protocol itself. Let me add that in over here. Yeah, so looking at Flux rewards, um, not counting the 777 payout, their premier pool is the 88-day payout. And so we wanted to be in sync with that and not allow people to game the system. So our minting is the first 44 days of this cycle is open minting, and then the last 44 days of that cycle is closed off. So if you want to get a piece of the 88-day payout, you have to mint in the first 44 days. And then the second this payout hits, we'll reopen minting again for another 44 days and then cuts off for the next 88-day payout. So a little bit different on that as far as minting goes, but same concept. We've got the common, rare, legendary. It's the same cost to reward ratio. So it doesn't matter if you're doing 100 commons, 10 rares, or 1 legendary. It's all the same. Now, I do highly recommend. I had a few people mint 100 commons as opposed to 10 rares or a single legendary, and they're like, "Why is my transaction fees so costly?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we do have batch transactions, but at the end of the day, it's still looking at 100 NFTs on the blockchain, and then we have to
Right.
read the stats on 100 NFTs. So it is convenient to have like 10 rares over a single legendary, but I don't recommend minting 100 commons. The
Yeah,
commons
that's
are
just
there.
too
Yeah.
much.
So yeah, throwing that out there for people to know, like, be careful with gas. Like, if you can afford, 100 commons, I would recommend doing 10 rares. 10 rares is not near as bad. Or if you're just all in, a single legendary is going to be the cheapest as far as gas costs go. One is always going to be cheaper than 10. As much as we can optimize, there's still gas costs for every NFT at the end of the day. So,
Yeah,
um,
and what I'll say with the commons, right? It's nice, like if you're minting commons, you're more than likely minting only one or two or three rares, in my opinion. Not necessarily
mhm.
100 commons is wild. I think right before E280 mint closed, I just did 10 common amps just to have them. And I even thought like I could easily just bought a rare. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I was like, why why did I mint 10 common rare? But it's to be seen later on in the life of E280 and E369, like what is good, what's bad, and maybe talk about this 2 years from now, and then like minting 100 commons actually was like a very smart play. Not not financial advice or anything, but it's to be
Y-
seen, and with these NFT platform that you got going on, it's something that's a little different, and we haven't really seen it totally play out as much as we'd like to see.
yeah, and this is something also that I think is really cool. So, just FYI, I just went to Titan Legends in the drop down here on 280. We're gonna add that as soon as um, they just announced that they will list the 369 NFTs as well. So that'll be coming soon over here. Um, But I think it's really cool. Like when you come over here and you look at it, and this is a common that's for sale right now in the marketplace. You can see the backing of it and also available rewards, which I think is cool. Like if somebody buys this NFT, these rewards are immediately claimable. So if you've got 100 commons and you're like the gas price is crazy, like I don't want to spend the gas to claim all these, like there's still value in letting it sit in that NFT because that NFT is still accruing additional backing value. And then at some point down the future, maybe it does make sense. Or in a bear market, gas is cheap. You know, there's all kinds of things that going on, but I think this is a cool feature that these rewards follow the NFT. So you don't even have to claim them. You can let them stack up and entice people to pay whatever cost you're looking to get without ever actually having to go in and claim these rewards yourself. So kind of neat.
Yeah, I think that's really cool, and it's almost like put it in a more, I guess traditional stance. It's like, okay, I have a portfolio of dividend stocks, and I've been hodling all of this stock dividend payouts, and now into, I'm selling it to you, and you just get all my dividends and my payouts. I think that's just a really cool idea, and it creates a little bit more scarcity and rarity on certain NFTs that have more backing, more payouts, and stuff. So instead of it being as tiered as how old NFTs were, it's like the same character can have 20 different variations and this and that. It's like this one NFT has this much payouts, and that's like a big differentiation between the two, or however many available.
I'm on mute. Yes, I agree with you. And then also like this, what's up, Jake? He makes a great comment here that I I think is undervalued as well. Like, you know, this is a new protocol that does not introduce another token. Not that there's a bad thing with tokens. You know, I love tokens. But this just adds additional utility to the ecosystem that's already there. Like we're utilizing Flux, Inferno, and E280. Like these tokens already exist. Inferno and E280 are cap supply, and we're just supporting those and making them even more deflationary than they already are. So I think that that's a huge statement and like what E369 brings to the table.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's, that's another little innovation, right? Slash, I guess, not pivot per se, but it's a nice way to add value without actually creating this whole entire new thing that you have to market and make it separate from what you're doing. And this just rolls right into E280. I love it.
Mhm. Yes, sir. But yeah, just to go over this real, like, I guess kind of just run through the whole website. Again, this is live, so you can go to this website yourself, click around. Obviously, you won't be able to mint until this countdown timer hits 0, which is coming soon, 18 hours.
Wow.
Um, but yeah, you can click around and see, you know, what do you want? What is the cost basis going to be on that? The ETH amount, if that's what you're interested in paying as well. Um, and just kind of just, you know, play around with it. Um, and then here's the Flux Hub. This is where basically all the automation is going on. So I guess I should take a step back and just kind of go on the documentation here. Like what are we aiming to achieve here? This is for people that are interested in Flux, but aren't really interested in daily auctions, with myself included. This is a chance for you to mint an NFT, and you just mint and hold, and all of the you're participating in daily auctions in Flux without having to do anything. And then on top of that, you're auto compounding. Like that's again, you're not doing anything. You're just sitting there. Um, Other people are going to come in here, and it just takes a single person to click this button, a single person to click these buttons, and keep this protocol running. while you as a user can just sit there and just, go to the vault and just see your tokens just accumulate. It's that simple. Um, but yeah, let's see. NFT, we'll just run through this. Yeah, so minting, 44 days of minting, followed by 44 days of no minting. And we're just gonna repeat that cycle. NFT costs, it's gonna be the same as E280 was, 100 million, 1 billion, 10 billion. A little bit different on the backing. There is no backing up front. Like the backing comes from the rewards. So as rewards from the Flux flywheel come in, as we're getting these payouts right here, and we're getting these payouts because we are participating in the Flux daily auctions and staking 75% of that Flux. 50% of those rewards are going to the users that are claimable every 11 days. And we chose 11 days as a distribution cycle because that stays in sync with our 44-day minting cycle.
Yep.
So it just kind of made sense. I feel like waiting 11 days is not a big deal.
Yeah,
um,
absolutely. And one question about this as well is, did you pick the NFT backing like delayed at like instead of having what E280 does and have that backing already? Was that something that you like with E280 you wanted to do different, or did you see that this would add more value to the system versus the other way around?
right. This is, primarily like we didn't, we asked ourselves the question, does this need a new token? And that's when we came to the decision that we don't need a new token. Like we can just utilize what's out there. At that point, that's when we decided, you know what, like the backing, if we had a token, then we would use the same style as E280. But since we decided no additional token, that's when we pivoted to this split 50-50. And this adds that last man standing game that E280 brings with a little bit of a twist. Same thing here, because half the rewards you are claimable each distribution period, which is 11 days. But the other half you can only claim by burning your NFT.
Hmm.
So I see the backing on these tokens growing pretty quickly because half of the rewards are going towards your backing. Even though you're starting at zero, these flux payouts, they're not missing a beat.
Yeah.
So, and with Phoenix coming out as well, like there's a lot of good things coming for Flux that I see in the future. And as long as Inferno keeps doing well, that's going to continue pushing Flux up. And I feel like this protocol has legs, and us building on it, I think even benefits even more because we're locking up a ton of Flux tokens.
Yep.
I would say a lot of people that are coming into these daily auctions, they're seeing the ROI. I'm speculating here, but I think a majority of these people are going into the auction and then taking that ROI and immediately dumping those Flex tokens onto the market to get their initial back.
Hmm.
Um,
No, I
that's
mean,
gonna,
I don't think that's speculation. I think people are holding them and doing that, in my opinion.
yeah. So like where we come in is we're not selling any of these tokens. We're coming into the auction, we're accumulating them, but majority of it's getting staked, and then the other majority is going to the user where they have now the option. If they want to compound their rewards, they can take their flux and manually stake it themselves to increase their flux position if that's
Yep.
what they're wanting to do. If they're wanting to take profits, it's only 25% of the flux coming out as opposed to 50%.
Hmm.
So I think this is really going to lock up a lot of flux.
Yeah,
Uh,
and one thing I'll add as well is the fact that you guys and Phoenix and hopefully potentially other projects as well are building on Flux. Flux is a very interesting protocol just in Titanx ecosystem in general, because this is like very much so designed inflation, and obviously it'll be capped at one point, but it's inflating a lot. And if there's any amount of building or burning or any extra stuff added to it, I'm just so interested to see what it's going to do with just even a little bit of utility. Because right now, as a standalone product, it's still doing great, but
Mhm.
just with a little bit extra, gasoline on it, like what could it really do?
Yeah, yeah. If you watch this stream, what's up, Mo? Earlier, I was streaming with Callum and the Mo, and yeah, we we are excited to see what Phoenix and E369 are going to do to Flux. We're very excited to see that, and
Yeah, it
we
was a
we
good
both,
stream too.
yeah, we both think, again, there's no way to predict an open market, but we both really think that this is really good for Flux. And people are worried about, dilution, and it's like, we're going into these auctions ourselves. So we're gonna be putting Titanx into these pools ourselves as well. The difference being is we're not selling these tokens. We're just staking them to get a part of the staking payouts. So
Mhm.
yeah, I think it could be really good.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I mean, I've liked Flux. I've participated in it, and randomly still do. Right, I'm not like an everyday daily auctioner for
Yeah,
sure, but
yeah,
some of those ROIs, I mean, it gets to
yeah.
they're really good, and people sleep on it. And if
No,
there is any type of play in Titan X that's being slept on, Flux is definitely one of them, in my opinion.
mm. Maybe not for long. We got
Yeah,
two
right.
protocols coming.
Yeah,
We're bringing some attention to it. We'll see. But again, I think very positive attention. So
yeah,
yeah, that's a
absolutely.
good point. Like it's functioning very well on its own without us coming in. And if it if our projects do what we believe it will do and support it in a positive way, that it's just only going to be better.
Yep.
And again, I have to give them a shout out. Titan X sent to Helios. Like this is perfect example of supporting other people in the ecosystem. They're putting their money where their mouth is. They've sent over 50K to the Helios treasury. And that's, we're taking that Titan X and locking it up in our treasury, and supporting HLX. So this type of stuff I think is awesome to see. And like with 369, we're doing the same thing, as far as support. We're taking, a portion, and we're buying and burning Inferno, and that's gonna support Flux as well because they're built on top of Inferno. And Phoenix is no different. They're utilizing a lot of Inferno in their protocol as well. So this could be really good for not just Flux but also Inferno, and all the other projects that are building on them. Shout out to Alien X, and I know there's more. I'm sure I'm going to miss them. There's so many protocols coming out, which again I think is a beautiful thing. There's never enough. So
Yeah, we
yeah.
have a ton coming up. It's hard to you're almost baited to either watch streams about the project or read the white paper on your own. You know what I mean? And lately, the streams have been the best way for me to kind of
Mhm.
dive into the white paper, because whether I you only really need, for me at least, I only need to hear about 80% of it to give a good gist of it,
Mm.
but that little 20% is what I find on streams for the most part.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and yeah, I believe Godex is on Inferno. Don't quote me
Yep.
on that.
Yeah. So Flare is too. Flare's
Okay,
got a piece of it that we're hopefully going to burn a crap load of Inferno as well. Um, Definitely have a nice little percentage allocated towards that, and hopefully with everything that we're working on right now, um, it can have a good positive impact on the whole ecosystem. But
that's awesome. There you go. So even more Inferno fans.
yeah,
And if you haven't, go here, click this button, join the Telegram, stay up to date on some more information. I see we got a lot of grayed out sections here. Win,
Yeah, yeah.
win website, win white paper.
White paper, hopefully. Um, in all honesty, maybe end of this week, maybe next week, in
Okay.
my opinion. Website, hopefully by the end of this week, we'll have like a nice little coming soon page.
Yeah.
Um, other than that, man, it's gonna be awesome. I totally get how you feel about projects just by me starting to work on one project. So I can't imagine how it feels to have not only three projects released, another one releasing, and then another one releasing after that. So it's awesome, man, and kudos to you for keeping on building, and I feel it's going to be the same thing for me.
I just feel like there's so many awesome things that can come to this ecosystem. Um, and yeah, like why not? I'm adding value to Titan X, and that's adding value to everybody, and that's supporting everybody. Like I can't say it enough. Indirectly supporting all these projects. It's beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely, and it really is a you know, I scratch your back, you scratch my back type of ecosystem, and people will do it not even if you even help them in the past, right? They'll just like, I kind of want to support that. I think that goes with the ethos of my project. And it's just really cool to see. And I didn't even think this stuff was even possible with community members and builders and stuff, in all honesty.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's see. Where should we go from here? Maybe check the chat some more. Oh, we got Scotty. What's up? Thank you. Mo Moonflux. Yes, please. Do you have to claim the Flux Inferno E2? No, it's a single transaction. So same thing with E280. Like you don't even have to claim if you want to wait. If you wait 44 days, you can claim all 4 distribution cycles all at once. So yes, we do have batch claims, and we are trying to optimize the gas fees as much as possible because I do understand gas fees can get up there. So, but don't worry. Like if gas fees are high, like there's no penalty on late claims. Maybe just wait a couple of days and see if gas chills out, and come back. Or like there's really no rush to these rewards.
Yeah. And if you miss it completely, just wait 44 days and it'll come back and you can mint again. So it's like you have a little bit of a movability within the minting process at the very least.
Mm, yeah, win, win, win. I think he's talking about you because yeah, I've got the exact countdown on mine.
Yeah, right. You're already locked in. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm just really hyped to. What I kind of want to do is I've been saying this on some other streams and stuff like that. I kind of want to start doing like a mega live like every other week kind of thing, and I think that'd be not only a great time to like release the white paper on stream and have like 8 people critique it. I think that would be awesome in my opinion.
Or
Um,
nerve wracking when everyone's like, "Well, you should be doing this and like this," and
Yeah, I
uh,
mean, hopefully, I'll have the part of some of the team on there and to help me out. But for the most part, I got the answers for the 99% of the answers for sure. The 1% of like the very particular code stuff, maybe not so much, but
mm,
the tokenomics and flow of it, absolutely. Yeah, Tom says, "Smooth, give us something. You burn a lot of Inferno, or what?" Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so it's going to be another built on Inferno protocol, and I'm definitely trying to burn as much as I possibly can, and it's going to be a crazy pinch on Inferno and how much stuff is coming out for Inferno and Flux. I mean, we've already, what is it, 56% or 55% of Inferno's burned already. It's
let's. Oh, I killed my. Hold on 1 second. That is a good question. Stats right here in our face.
55.
55%.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not going to take. Utah Crypto says 57. You know, it's not going to be long before Inferno gets absolutely pinched with how much supply it's getting burnt, how much it has. I mean, it only is a matter of time with not only the whole entire Titan X ecosystem, but the Inferno specifically. It has so little coins. In all honesty, obviously, it's like I don't know, 2 point something trillion, but in Titan X terms, that's really not that crazy. And uh,
Yeah.
you know, eventually this will be in the millions and the 100,000s and stuff potentially in the future. And
Oof.
it's when you start thinking of that, it's when it hurts your brain to think about. But it's all possible with if it's going to continuously burn forever, which it's starting to, and it's got projects built on it to specifically do that no matter what. It's it's going to be hard to keep those Inferno tokens, and the more the price goes up, the more people dump, the more we burn. It's a rotation.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, and I'm seeing that firsthand with E280. It's funny.
Yeah, you
But
and you went God mode and burnt. You're burning everything. I absolutely love that, man.
yeah. Yes. Yeah, and I
But
was
that's
seeing, yeah, with Inferno, they've actually got a little slice of the pie dedicated to what E280 has done. 82 billion Inferno burned. And Flux doing an amazing job too. 246 billion.
yep.
Like that's yeah, 2 trillion doesn't sound like a whole lot when you see that kind of burning going on. And that's not counting 369 is going to be burning it.
Yep.
Flare is going to be burning it. Like Phoenix is, I don't know. I don't know that they're locking any of it, but they're adding additional utility. Like it's nothing but good for Inferno. So
Yep. Yeah, and you think right, like Element 280, which is wild that it's 40 days old, first of all, but it's only 40 days old, and Flux is 59 days old. So imagine when they're 2 years old, 3 years old, 4 years old. You know what I
mm,
mean? It's so different when you
yeah.
put a crazy long term viewpoint on it. And I mean, we're talking billions within 60 days. Like that's nuts.
That's a great point, man. That's this timeline. Yeah, we're on a rocket ship. We're flying through space here really quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the neon green slice that E280 has though. It
Yeah.
really pops.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. Yeah, and we're sitting on 1.35 liquid, which it's not crazy, not crazy. And like I was saying, so close to hitting that 50% already. And we're only on day 40, 40 days in.
Wow.
And I mean, and 28 of that was mintable. So
Yeah.
like it's really only 12 days of deflationary, and what we're at is already, it's like we're starting at the halfway point from the start line.
Yeah, yeah. And I love that you were like you guys have a crazy buy and burn first of all, but second off, like having the unrationality of people minting and using your protocol and all while dumping and taking profits and this and that, like not to mention the taxes that were happening, but the actual amount you were burning throughout all of that was just like I'd come back the next day and it'd be like another 2% gone and 1% gone, and I was like, "Geez, man, like this is really eating supply up."
Yeah. 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 I'm really excited to see the V2 buy and burn from 369 here. This is it's not going to be like trillions going into this on day one. Like we are relying on the flux rewards, so but the thing is like these things are going to be nonstop. Like every 8 days we're going to get Titan X going to this buy and burn. every 28 days, 88 days, and then the 777, that's going to be awesome as well. So this will be like a nice slow even burn that just constantly runs, which I think is really great to see. And I don't think we're gonna run anything super hot because we're already seeing tons of NFTs being burned with E280. Like there's no need to push them anymore. Like let's let the all those people burn their NFTs and sell their tokens and um, just take it nice and easy. And every
Yep.
time they do that, your share of the pool just grows larger and larger. So um, this is a like just like I said, just a nice constant run that's just going to be beautiful to watch.
Yeah,
Um,
and to add to it as well is it's in tight necks, right? And the tight necks, if it does what we think it can do, it could really be a big amount over time, right? And this
mhm.
is a nice slow, like the flux stakes, right? The fastest one's every 8 days, right? And that's going to be a constant thing, but over time, right? Sometimes you have to wait. Sometimes it's not going to take 1 week, 2 weeks for it to like fully mature. And in complete honesty, crypto in general, the longer it's been, the better it gets for the most part. And this is the same exact thing with these payouts and how much that buy and burn V2 comes in and just slowly accumulates all this tight necks. Like it could be pretty crazy really fast at a certain point, right? With a good price rise of Titan X, like you're like, going from say $100 every buy and burn, you're like, dang, now I'm burning $1,000, or
Yeah.
whatever the math is. It gets wild being valued in Titan X.
Yes. Yeah. The hyper deflationary aspect, there's no telling where we're going over the next few months. And you're talking like, what about the next cycle? Where
Yep.
are we going to be at 4 years from now? Like this will still be running. People will still be in the auctions. This will still be paying out Titan X 4 years from now. Like
Yep.
eh, most people in crypto aren't even looking in the next 2 weeks. Like this is, yeah, it's great.
Yeah, and this is what I love about not only tight Next ecosystem, but your projects, how I'm looking at my projects, right? Like I'm thinking when I'm designing my project is I'll be 50, I'm 31, right? So say 19 years from now, I'll be 50 years old. My project's still running. And I'm just like looking at it like, man, that was a crazy time when we first started and this and that. Like all of these projects have a very, very long term view, and these codes are immutable and it's
Mhm.
not going to change, right? This is going to be here for as long as the internet is on, the blockchain's running. Like,
Yeah.
and it can't be understated how important time is with all of this.
Yes. Yes. Like it's incredible. It really is. Uh, Utah is saying the UI is not accurate, so we're gonna go with Utah saying
I
57%.
like that even better.
Yeah.
To be honest, I like that even better.
And Alien X, they are burning Inferno as well. Yeah.
Yep.
So
Yeah, they're gonna have a lot of chunks of color on that pie chart soon.
yeah, right. Yes. Hyped about 369 Vault. Yes. Stored by Phoenix and burned by Flare. Yeah, yeah, the Inferno is it's looking good. Fundamentally, don't
Yep.
quote me on any kind of TA.
Yeah, me and you both have went over. We're not those guys
Yeah.
at all.
Then Callum, yeah, LFG. Sorry you couldn't join. It's past his bedtime.
As he's
we
typing.
Yeah, we were giving him a hard time earlier because we were saying, yeah, come join and talk about it because it was great to stream with Callum and go over Phoenix and 369 side by side because we're both utilizing Flux. So
Yep.
it was like it was more like a hype Flux stream than talking about our own projects.
Yeah, yeah.
uh, but yeah, exactly. Yes. If Flux pumps, just even more Inferno gets burned. So yes, LFG. Yeah, CMO gets it. What do you think 369 can sustain through bear into bull? 369, it's really what's going to be dependent on that is the Flux protocol. And if things keep going as they are, and like this is, like I was saying, nothing's built on it right now, and this is what we're seeing. If we continue on this trajectory, I don't see why not that this could run through a bear um, into another bull market. Like it really depends. 369 is dependent on Flux, and Flux is kind of dependent on Inferno, and we've seen that like all of these protocols are getting supported. So I see a bright future with them.
Yeah, and one thing I'll add to it as well is, like, let's say that you go through a 44-day mint cycle, no one mints in the bear market, right? You go through a
Mhm.
44-day drought, right? No one mints. You do another one, another one, another one, right? The moment the tides and overall view of Titan and Flux and all of this kind of stuff comes back, because it will come back. That's how everything, for the most part, works. You will have ROI back into it with minting of these NFTs, which then goes into the Flux, which then does everything we talked about it doing. So it's a benefit of having the capability of not, you know, say you missed one cycle, you can get the next cycle, right? And then in the future, right? You just have to wait. So maybe it's not profitable or really doing much right now, but you never know what that next 44-day mint
Mhm.
can really do to the whole entire, ecosystem, really.
Yes. Yep. And I mean, we're talking about Element 280 as well. Like it's not
Yep.
just Inferno and Flux. There's Element 280 in there. And how is that going to perform over through a bear market with E280 in a bear market? Even if price is going down, arbitrage bots are still trading that on the way down. They're going to trade it on the way back up in the next
Yep.
bull market. Um, and while they do that, they're burning tokens. They're putting tokens in NFT holders' hands. Um, that's simple. Like, and you can literally just disappear for a bear market and come back. You still got that NFT in your wallet. Like, you're good to go. Like, it's the easy button of Titan X, and then
Yeah,
369 is the easy button for Flux. Absolutely. So
I love it. Yeah, you want to pull up that Inferno burn page? I haven't even looked at that.
I don't. Is it up? Uh, I don't know if he's talking
Yeah,
about it's coming
it might
or
be coming.
yeah,
Pretty sure that's how it looked.
yeah. Let's see. How do I swap for Titan X? So cow swap is kind of hit and miss with tax tokens. With Uniswap, you just gotta check your slippage. That's all it is. And the taxes on E280 are 4%, so I would recommend like 4.5 to maybe 6%. I would start at 4.5, and if it's not going through, then try 5, then try 5.5, try 6. But somewhere in there, your slippage settings is what's killing the trade, because Uniswap, their UI is not the best, and they're not accounting for the taxes on that. So I get that question all the time. So
Yeah, well, when everything was minting and the taxes were at 16% for the mint, people were like, this is it says it has liquidity with everything, and and it's like, hey, man, the taxes are 16%. You're going to have to put your slippage above that.
yeah,
And they're like, what do you mean I got to put a 20% slippage? And I'm like, yeah, I mean,
yeah,
unfortunately, you read the rules. Like, you're trying to play this short game. Like, it's a big tax. Like, that's the
yeah,
point. That's the point.
Right. And it did exactly what we wanted it to do. Like short-term players still made those sells. They were still paying that tax and they were getting their, a couple of percent ROI out of it. And the long-term players, those NFT holders were getting massive rewards,
Yeah,
massive weekly
it
rewards.
was great.
Yeah.
I wasn't. I knew. I was like, if I'm selling anything, it's after mint. That's crazy. Selling
Yeah.
during mint, and I'm like, these are, and we don't have any idea of what the long aspect of what E280 can do in all reality. But
Mhm.
in theory, during mint, that was going to be the biggest rewards you get, and we'll see it over time. But getting a huge chunk of a percent of all the buys and sells, and depending on how many NFTs you minted, it was nice, man. I loved it. And, I say this every time we're on stream. Like, I haven't sold any of my, you know, payouts that I've got just because it's nice little savings account. It's nice to look at. It's like, hey, over time, this is going to look really nice. And same thing with my Flux stuff too.
I yeah, I don't really want to speak to it as a founder so much, but um I
That's
haven't
why I'm
burned
doing
it.
it for you, dude.
Yeah, yeah. I'll say I haven't burned any NFTs. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean,
uh,
it's something you designed, it's something you built, and for a lot of people, what they want is the absolute most of what they built. In all reality. So, I totally get it, and we're involved in getting into our projects day one, just like everybody else. So, I love that aspect of it.
yeah, yeah. I was like applying for CoinGecko, which congratulations to E280. We are listed on CoinGecko.
Let's go.
Um, yeah, yeah. Like there's a whole section on CoinGecko about your pre-sale, your founder allocations, the ICO, and all this. And I'm like, nope, nope, nope.
Yeah,
Like none of that. What allocation is this? And I'm like 100% public mint, zero founder allocations. Like it feels so good to put that in, and then that's like a normal thing on CoinGecko. Like that's normal in most of crypto is to have an ICO and have angel investors and all those things. Like, nope, the founders are mining just like everybody else. Yeah.
yeah,
So
it's a weird thought, and my buddies, when I start talking about it, my like project, they kept saying is, "How many coins are you allocating me?" And I'm like, "Dude, I'm not even allocating myself any." I'm like, "You're crazy, dude." Like, I was like, "I don't think you understand what we're got going on here."
they'll figure it out.
Yeah, my buddy's hilarious. He's like, "Hey, man, like, just give me a 10%. No one will even care." And I'm like, that's not how it works, man."
Yeah. Yeah, that's massive.
I'm like, "You're crazy, dude.
Yeah.
10% is 10%. It's not like 0.10%. That's way different."
Right. Right. Um, yeah, let me just go through this real quick as well. Like I'm on the Flux Hub on the 369, and this is where you're going to see the amount of Titan we have in our treasury. And this is where we're going to participate in our daily auctions. It's just going to be one time a day. We're going to come in and auction off, starting off with 20 billion Titan X a day. And then right here is where we'll be claiming our auctions. And these are all just a single user needs to click that button to keep this thing running. So as an NFT holder, you don't have to do any of this stuff. And then down here, you're going to see all of our stakes. And so basically every day we come into the auction, it's creating a stake. And so we're going to just be stacking hundreds upon hundreds of stakes. And then we've got to collect these. So we're going to have it set up to where you'll be able to see the stake, the amount that's staked, and the reward that is sitting in that stake. So if it's showing zero, then you just don't select it, and basically we're going to sort all these stakes by reward and then allow the user to select, all right, I want to click the top 10 stakes that have the most reward. and then they will claim that, and then they get the incentive fee off of those stakes. So this is I really like this system because there's not always going to be a payout every time someone wants to claim these. So like they can build up here, and if it's not worth claiming because there's only $20 and the reward and the incentive fee is 20 cents, well then you just let that sit there and it'll get another payment and another payment until it's like worth claiming, and then any user
Right.
can come in and click that and claim them. So um, I like our solution on that a lot.
Yeah, it seems like it's just pretty fair to the people that are using it. And it's really nice having all of that, and you can ascend it whichever way you want. I think that's really important just for usability, because people like that have been doing crypto a long time, they kind of get what's kind of going on, but some people need a little bit easier of a more
Mm.
straightforward look at how to do things, just so they get it a little bit easier.
Yeah,
Everybody learns different.
sure. And I would say the key takeaway here is the average user doesn't even need to go to this page at all. Like this, it only takes one person to click each of these buttons. And so the majority of people are just going to be in the user vault page. Like they don't even have to concern themselves. Like if you want to see what's going on, you can click there and check it out. But ultimately, as an NFT holder, this is all you've got to worry about right here is just how many tokens are stacking up in the reward pool. And then again, once this hits zero, it's a single person clicks that. And you're going to see your individual rewards in this box here. And then you'll have your individual claim button down here. And then same thing as E280. This is your section to burn your NFT and claim your backing. So this will be a one-time thing for an NFT holder. Um,
I love that, man. Yeah, and it's like for us crypto people, it's like, look, maybe not everybody's looking at that page, but geez, I want that page.
yeah,
I want to look at that stuff.
yeah, yeah. Me too. I love all the stats. I'm just learning. You just need to put those to the side so that like what a user we need the vital information for a user on a single page and not overload them with too much. So
Yep.
like that's what this is just giant screen at the top. These are your rewards. This is the time it's distributing. This is how much is yours to claim. Easy. um, but then as other users that want to dive in more and like, hey, I want to mint an NFT, but they're not sure, they're on the fence, they can come here and go, oh yeah, they've got a trillion Titan X in their treasury, or they can go scroll through all the stakes and be like, oh wow, they're getting some big payouts coming up, or like you can dive in and do your own research without overwhelming the average user by just
Yep.
them going to that. So
Yeah, I love that,
absolutely.
man. Yeah, and it's almost like look, the Element 280 website looked really good in my opinion from the beginning, but adding the 369 and how you cleared it all up and made it a little bit more like polished, it's only a good sign, because when you start adding more projects to it and
Mhm.
stuff, it's just I feel like it's just going to get more dialed in as time goes on.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think we're gonna probably do some modifications on the stats page as well, at some point, because we don't want like this super long page of stats, or maybe just collapsible features. We were kind of just discussing that today, on what we wanted to
Collapsible might be
do.
nice.
Yeah, but again, like I would never get rid of any of these stats. It's just where can we hide them somewhere to where it's not in the face, but people that are interested, they can come to it and check it out.
Right.
Because yeah, I'm glued to this stats page. Like every day I want to come in here and look at how much more is burned, how many NFTs have disappeared. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, and 369 is going to be no different to be checking out these stats down here. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
total Titan X through the auctions. Yeah,
Yeah, I just can't believe truly that there's been 7,019 burnt NFTs and we're only 40 days in.
Yeah.
Like that is when we first had our stream. First of all, we both had no idea how many
Yeah.
allocations and mints are going to happen, but I
Mhm.
would have never guessed over 7,000 are burnt by 40 days. I never would have guessed that.
Yeah. Nowhere even near that. Nowhere near that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you said you were doing the math on it of what it could do, we were off, which
Yeah.
I'm happy about it. I'm happy that we were off because that means there was a ton minted.
Yeah, and also that's why I try to limit, the amount of my simulations. It's like to a certain point you're getting out of simulations and you're getting into crystal ball territory, and it's like, does this even, like these numbers, could get skewed one way or the other, and that's where I'm like, that's just going to be misleading to me or a person.
Hmm.
So like I try to keep it very simple and um yeah, just very simple as far as like how I expect something to go. So like I said, I expected NFTs getting burned, um but just not that many, which is in my opinion great, because now every NFT holder, their share of the pool is just going up with every NFT burn. um I love
It's
it.
glorious. It's glorious.
Yes. Yes. Oh man, very nice features. Thank you. Thank you. 18 hours to launch. Yes. On the dot. 18 hours.
Wow.
5 p.m. Uh yeah, 5 p.m. UTC. Is that right? I think.
Yep.
No. Yes. That is right. I should know this.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Hey, it's all good.
Yeah. But yeah, I think I've ran through the website. Is it all pretty self-explanatory for you? I guess. I mean, you're familiar with it, so I guess you don't have too many questions, but
Yeah. I
um
mean, I one thing I'll add as well is, I was wondering when you first did the Element 280 how you were going to actually do the NFTs and design the NFTs because the way people did them in the past was, like I said, it's like 10,000 NFTs come out, they have all these different features, looks, this and that, but I like that you did a simple like here's the common, here's the amp version, here's the rare, here's the amp version. I really like that. And will these have amped versions like the other ones did, or is it just what they are?
we yeah, we just decided to simplify it and just have no amp options, just the three tiers.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Um
it blew my mind how many people actually did get the amped versions, including myself. I only minted amps, in my opinion. I was like,
mhm.
I think the multiplier added to it is really nice. So it makes sense for me to one mint the amp, but two burn more tight necks. I mean, that's like the goal of all this stuff in
Mhm.
my opinion. So um, I think it's really cool that you did that. But now I like that you did a simple version, and these NFT projects that you release and whatnot are just going to get more dialed in over time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And that just goes to show there's a lot of long-term minded players. Like that's the way I see Amped, as a long-term player.
Yep.
But although we have seen lots of amped NFTs getting burned, it's not just the regular ones. We're seeing a lot of amped versions getting burned. So
Hmm.
maybe they thought they were long term and then decided they weren't. uh, which is funny. I like to tease people, and they're like, "I'm never selling." I'm like, well, if your NFT is worth 100 grand, are you still not burning your NFT?
Right. Right.
What
Yeah.
about
It's
200 grand?
yeah. It gets a little crazy when it
Yeah.
gets to that. You're like, I said I was gonna hold forever, but
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. I wasn't sure about the 44 on off, but now this could be interesting because that's when E280 was the craziest during mid phase. That is true. Yeah. And again, like this is no different with from E280. Like there is a burn tax. So users, where is it? Yeah. there's the same thing, 3% burn tax. So that is going to other users. So we kind of welcome that. We welcome people to mint and then burn their NFT. That's supporting all the other NFT holders that are just long-term players. So another thing that was just like, yes, that's this has to be in all of the projects. It's a great um, attribute to the protocol, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I mean, like 3% compared to 16%, people were paying 16% to burn their NFTs. It's like it gets to a certain point, it's like, 3% is nothing compared to 16%.
Uh,
Like,
that was the tokens. It was still three
right, right, right.
percent NFT and 16. Yeah, yeah. But yes, I agree with you. Yep.
It was a light, I forgot, it was a light burn on the actual NFT itself.
Hmm. Oops, I need to update this because we do have all the contracts. If you need to know, come down to the bottom of the website. We've got all the E280 contracts right here listed and all of the 369 contracts right here. And then I do have we did 3 audits. And most importantly, like testing, like that's, in my opinion, the most important part. Obviously, we like audits, but we also like extensive testing. That's what really helps find a lot of bugs in the code as well. So, but we went ahead. Usually, I only do 2 audits, but with recent events, I was like, for user confidence, let's go ahead and go with a third one just to be absolutely sure. It won't hurt. So we
Yeah,
went ahead
it
and
it
did that.
never does.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, and then some socials. Check out our website, Telegram, X, Twitter, all those things.
Let's go.
And yeah, Titan Legends. I like that they're becoming that premier marketplace for the entire ecosystem. Uh, have you checked out the JKX NFTs?
No, I haven't.
They're pretty funny looking. Yeah, yeah. So shout out to Rudy. These do make me
Yeah.
smile, and that JKX is all about the meme, and this has got some meme ability. So I hope it's doing well. It's pretty funny. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And, E280 burning JKX as well. Burns a lot of it, actually, in my opinion.
Yes. Yeah. You could see that. Yeah. 54 million JKX. You could see it, even though it was a smaller allocation. JKX is a smaller market cap, and you could definitely see it on the charts. It was very interesting to watch. But yeah, I love it to see all these NFTs in the ecosystem, and E369 coming soon as well. That's exciting. So I'm rooting for
That's
Titan
awesome.
Legends.
I love it.
Also, I got to showcase the Helios Treasury. Here we go. We got 1.3 trillion Titan X staked.
Wow.
It's so amazing to see.
Congrats. Congrats.
And then
Seriously. That's
our
a
investment
milestone.
pool, like we've got, yes, yeah. And don't worry, like all of these tokens here, all of the value on these tokens is going to directly support HLX in one way or another, which I think a lot of people are sleeping on right now, but that's fine with me. They can keep sleeping. They'll see when it comes into action, when it starts coming into play. They'll be like, "Wait, what? What's going on?" I showed you. It was right there on our website.
It
Plain as could be to see there. So,
actually didn't
and
go
then
anywhere. It's been
also
there
I
the
want to
whole
point
time.
out, yeah, and then I also want to point out we have over 500K in the Giannis LP promo. So if you're over on Pulse Chain, I highly recommend you check this out. This is 500K in rewards given out to people that participate in this LP promo. So if you're not familiar, come play around with it. Come in our Telegram and inquire. We've got answers.
Awesome, man.
Boom. Yeah.
Anything else you want to throw out there? I think you covered a lot of stuff and answered some questions that you may have not mentioned in other streams. So
Yeah. No, I think I got it all. Just yeah, like E280 element 280.win, the E280 expansion pack. Like this is supporting yourself. So if you love E280, this might be for you. The Flux Easy button. So
love it.
yeah.
Yeah, man. This has been a great stream. We always have a great stream together, man. It's always a fun time, and obviously with you bringing out more and more projects, it just adds to the effortlessness of this conversation that we always have because it's always something
Mhm.
new to talk about.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're a go-to when I'm like, hey, I got stuff to talk about. And you're like, yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm so pumped to see. I hope everything goes smooth, safely. You mint, 20,000 NFTs tomorrow. That's what I'm hoping. So wish you nothing but the luck, man.
And yeah, I'd like to point out that the contracts are out there. It's hard coded to start at that time. Like there's literally nothing I have to do admin wise to get this rolling. And like this, I'm learning with every launch what works and what, like with Helios we launched I think it was like an hour and a half late.
Hmm.
Primarily because gas was killing me, and like that's when I learned, okay, we need a start button, and we need to launch these contracts ahead of time and be ready for it. And this was even easier because we're syncing with the Flux protocol, so we just hard coded it to sync exactly with the Flux timer. So the second the Flux day flips over, we're going live and we're starting our day one. So
That's
all
awesome.
automatic, already ready, set. Like websites updated, ready to go. Um, I think I've done all I could do to prevent any hiccups. you know.
Yeah.
So
And you've had a couple launches, a few launches beforehand to really dial it in. So
yeah.
it's only going to get better. Obviously with this, but in the future with Stacks, man, it's I'm really excited to hear about that. But
Mhm.
let's have a amazing, first couple
Yes.
weeks or whatever the case is with E369.
Yes. Yeah. And do you want to get the last few words about Flare again? Let people
Yeah. So
know.
as of right now, we are still in the process of building it, going to audits, hopefully sooner rather than later. Everybody says 2 weeks, whatever. It'll be done when it's done. I'm just hoping to at least get it out before 2025. In all honesty, um, I'm gonna be talking about it way before that, but release hopefully before 2025. I think that would just be amazing to start out the year with a project release. Besides that, um, at this point, with how we're doing it, it's built on Inferno protocol. There is going to be us, utilizing the Phoenix stakes. That's another kind of little tidbit for our burning
Mm.
of Titan X. It kind of just goes hand in hand with what we're doing. So hopefully all that stays intact with everything, and it seems like it is. But who knows what's going to happen? But overall, it's part of the ethos. Deflationary. I am, like I said before in the stream, I'm like lifelong with this project. I built this so it can be a standalone project, and if I never build another project on top of it or no one other builders build on top of it, it'll be fine. So
Mhm.
long term aspect in mind, I was never going to do anything that wasn't long term, in my opinion, especially putting up money to build something. But other than that, I cannot wait to put the coming soon website front page
Yes.
on. I think that will give a really cool look, and I think people will like the way it looks. So, yeah, once that white paper comes out and I can talk about it, hopefully just going to be on streams and making videos and stuff constantly. So, yeah, man. I'm
Looking
bullish.
forward to it. Yeah, I just had the idea. We need to put together like an Inferno hype stream with like Callum and Alien X, all those guys, and
Yep.
um, Blaze team, and that would be fun to just
Yeah.
talk about all the things that's going on in Inferno. So
That'd be awesome, man.
yeah,
And it seems like there's a lot of projects building on it, so it's
hmm
we're gonna have enough people for a stream, that's for sure.
yeah, right. So
Awesome, man.
well, cool. You want to wrap it up, and we can call it a day.
Let's do it, man. Hey, everybody, thank you so much for coming on here and hanging out with me and the dude. It's always a pleasure doing streams. This has been an amazing, you know, stream. I'm so bullish on E369, and the little tweaks that the dude made to this is going to make it even that more special. So, appreciate you for being here, dude. And yeah, this has been Smooth and Crypto. I'm your host, Maxwell Smooth. Until next time, peace.
See ya.